Yo, what's up, you guys? We're back again with another daily review. It is Thursday, March 20th, and we're going to do another TnS review for all the mechanical setups that presented itself today. Once again, we're going to be going over every single one. We're going to go over every single one pretty much. So let's start right at 9:30. So really quick before I go over 9:30, I do want to throw out this honorable mention. This one did hit for a very nice TP. Actually, I forgot. This one, I believe this one actually, it was too close. Yeah, actually, it's right on it. 3 points exactly. So that's perfect. Even if you didn't see that one, well, they had this one here. And it played out. You tap in, you target there. We tap in the first candle here, it taps into FVG. We look to the left. That's the low we target for 33. About 34 points, which is basically 1R. So not bad there. But once again, that doesn't count because it's not at 9:30. We're only looking for 9:30 and forward. Now, let's talk about this because this is bearish FEG on the 5 minute. We actually have multiple. We had some lows that overlapped. I believe it was this one. Yep, this was the one. So we did have multiple lows, but this one too close. That's invalid. This one right here is technically valid because if you measure this from where the low is, right about there, we did have 4 points or about at least 3 away from the edge of the gap, which means it's technically a valid setup. And unfortunately, it did fail. Okay. So 35 point stop. If you were trying to TP here, this is the first candle that taps in. You look to the left, there is no lower low immediately next to it. Of course, there's one over here, but that's not the model. Remember, if you look to the left, there's no immediate low, you target the actual candle that tapped into the FEG for the first time. So that would mean it was about to be 137 point TP if it would have hit, but unfortunately, it gets stopped. Now, I was mentioning this during PM stream, but this one right here was interesting because um, it did run for 30 points like off rip. So like when we tapped into this low that overlaps at the time, you can see that wick right there. Sorry, let me fix this. This did run for 30 points like exactly. And if you're on an account that matters, that's 30 points, 30 points. But I'm just saying like it did hit for 30 at least, but ultimately a loss. So that's one loss. So trade number 1 is a loss. Let's keep going. Nothing in here because it's invalid. There were a few invalid plays that end up winning today, but we'll get into that. So this one's invalid because it's too close to the edge, so we'll keep going. This one doesn't have a setup. Fast forward price a little bit. This one right here is one that I actually tried myself on eval because I liked how it was Asia low that overlapped, and it also had the same setup on ES, and as well we pumped so much. I was thinking, okay, we could at least get a retracement. If we get a retracement, that could be me getting at least profit, even if we couldn't get to the target. So in this case, you would short here, 35 point stop right there. Where you target, this is the first candle that taps into the FEG. You look to the left, it would have been this right here for, once again, 117 points. Big targets today. Maybe that's why it didn't get hit. And then this one fails. Now, in the process of this one failing, there's actually a long. So let me first write down this. Trade number 2 is a loss. Okay. So trade number 2 is a loss for the short. Now, trade number 3 actually was a win. So what do we have here? We have a bunch of highs that overlap in this FEG now. We have one there, one here, one here, one here, and one up here. This one's invalid because it's outside. This one right here would be the highest one. This is a middle one. This is another middle one, which means our 2 options to enter would be these 2 right here. This one gets tapped into. 35-point stop. And what do you target? Well, this candle taps into the FG first. You look to the left, you target this high for about 46. So this one was a win. Trade number 3 was a win, and it ran for 46.5 points. Just call it P for short because I want to keep this like in the format that it's at. Okay, so, and this one actually ran for 100 all the way up to London Asia high. And really quick, I do want to talk about, say you were really bullish today and you were just thinking, hey, we're going to go up to London Asia high. Well, this one would have been a trade for you because maybe you wouldn't even look for shorts here with using the model. If you were looking for only longs, this would have been the play for you, and it could have ran. This could have been your only trade if you were trading, non-mechanically, just incorporating your own confluence or bias with it. But mechanically, these are the stats once again. So let's continue. Up here, we do not have TnS. No TnS model here for a short. Um, Actually, maybe we did. I didn't even notice this. I feel like this would be cheating though. Yeah, this would be cutting through a BPR. We can't do that. Never mind. Never mind. That's not the model. But anyways, let's continue and see if we see any more plays here. Get a bearish gap here, but no overlapping low to short from. Okay, right here we have another potential play. We had 3 lows that overlap. Once again, you get rid of the middle one because we're only looking for the lowest one or the highest one, so this one's irrelevant. And you could have shorted from either one, but either one lost. So if we use the lower one, this is the loss. And where would you have targeted? Well, this candle taps in the FEG first. You look to the left, it's going to be this low right here. And it's a loss. Okay. Now, this one was actually interesting because if you had standard deviation on your chart, then you would know that we actually bounced out a -1 with this wick, and then we started turning around. I wouldn't have taken this one. I didn't take this one actually, but I'm just saying, if you incorporate bias with this, you could have avoided this one as well if you had standard deviation drawn. Just saying, but that one is a loss as well. Loss for 1R. Okay. And then no long setup here with using TNS. Remember, we are not here to make the wicks cut through a BPR or anything like that. Okay. No setup here. Oh yeah, this one. Okay, this one I think was another win actually. So we had a low that overlaps inside this FVG. We end up hitting so once again, candle that taps into the FVG first. We look to the left, that low's already swept, but this one right here would have been the target if we got tagged in. So what do? You're still waiting for an entry, but what do you do here? You simply wait for the entry. Okay. Now, since we've already hit the target using just the regular fair value gap without using our TNS model, now what we do is, since now we're entered, well, all you do is simply look to the left of the candle that taps in to give you your entry. So for example, this is the candle that gives you the entry. You look to the left now. This low is the target. Okay. So if you shorted that right there, 35-point stop right there, TP for 58 points just about. And this one won. And the runner looks like it peaked at, wow, 100 points. So this one got 100 points. So 2 trades ran for 100. The wins ran for 100 with the runners. Let me put that in parentheses here because 100-point runner. And then trade number 5 was a win. 1.6 R, 58 points. Okay. Let's keep going. Another thing I forgot to mention, while this short was playing out, there was actually a long opportunity. So this 930 gap had a few highs that overlapped. Once again, this one looks like the highest one that overlaps. Another one here. And another one down here. Now, this one that's the lowest low that overlaps looks like it's invalid because it looks like it's within 2 points at the edge. Therefore, it's invalid. So we remove this one, and now we're left with 2. Say you long this higher one with 35-point stop. Just mechanically. We'll just say that's 35 points. It gets stopped out because I just know, what happened in live time. This one is the first candle it taps into. Therefore, your target should have been up here for 60 points. It takes a little minute, but it gets stopped out, okay? As this one gets stopped out, the other one gets activated, okay? So this one got stopped, so we'll call that trade number 6. Even though it's the same gap, we'll just consider that because I know some people took it. But this is a loss for negative 1R, minus 35. This one right here, the second one gets activated. We do inverse the bullish gap, but remember, you're still in the trade. 35-point stop. See what happens. Remember, TP is up here, and it eventually hits. Now, the problem with this one is how long it took. Of course, it's not ideal to sit through trades, but this one took 1 hour and 25 minutes to hit the TP, but it did hit for 89 points. Okay, so trade number 7 is a win for 89 points. So remember, trade number 7 was this win that took forever to play out. But throughout this win, there's actually 2 losses that occurred. I actually forgot to even go over. It was right here. So this one right here, you could have shorted that or tried to short for the time being. 35-point stop. You're trying to target that low. Doesn't get hit. That's a loss. And then in the process of that one losing, there's also another loss here. Okay. So another loss right there, 35 points. And where you target on this one, this first candle taps into, you look to the left. This one got really close to TP, but just turned around ultimately to make the other play win. Okay. So I forgot to add those 2. Let me add those real quick to our tally. So trade number 7 is a win, but trade number 8 is a loss. Trade number 9 is a loss for negative 1R. So now I'm going to redo the tally because I thought that was it. So yeah, 0.6. So 0.6R minus 16 and a half on the day. In my opinion, for 9 trades, basically break even. That's not horrible for, back-to-back losses, a win, a loss, win. You're basically fighting the entire day. That's not terrible. But of course, it's not green on the day by any means, but still. Minus 16 points when we risk 35 every single time. That's not that bad, to be completely honest. And we'll see what tomorrow has in store. Once again, guys, I wanted to make sure that I got everything there because I knew there was something missing. I thought there was more losses, and it turns out there was. So the true results are actually 9 trades total, and these are the final results for today. So yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's daily review, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.